And as you go back and look at this game, obviously first and third quarters, second and fourth quarters, diametrically opposed from one another in terms of the way that went on. We could get into the tactical stuff, but as a coaching staff, what do you do when you've got this slow starting thing going on, and how do you try to address that with the guys? Because I mean, if you maintain what you did in quarters 2 and 4, you guys have got 600 yards of offense.
Yeah, I think what we try to do is just build off of those positives. The things that we did really well, and particularly offensively. It was either really, really good or really, really bad. It wasn't really anything in between. And, so you got to build off of the good things, I think, and defensively. And we did some good things in the kicking game, and that really helped us stay in the game as well with some of the returns. And then, obviously, the interceptions were huge. And you take all of that and you build off of that. We got to be more consistent. I think that's probably the bottom line, is just the consistency we got to have throughout the whole team.
Where do you think the consistency needs to be better? Is it an everybody thing, or are there some position groups?
No, it's an everybody thing. I mean, it's guys that are, fifth-year seniors. I mean, it's Taylor Lamb, it's Bo Nunn. I mean, it's some older guys. I mean, it's T. Sims. I mean, it's guys that are very talented and have helped us win a ton of games, of maybe having some lapses in that game at wrong times, and those things happen. I mean, it's they're a good football team that we just played. I mean, their record doesn't indicate that, and I think but we have to be more consistent, and it's everybody. It's every position, every team that we have, meaning offense, defense, and special teams.
As far as the health of the team goes, it seems like we're asking this question every week. I saw a couple of guys back at practice today that have been out for a while. Let's talk about Darrington Evans for a minute. He's still out. Looks like he's going to continue to be out based on at least what I saw today.
Yeah.
At what point do you guys sit down as a staff and say, okay, it's time to pull the plug on this. Let's go ahead and shirt him?
Well, you know what? Quite honestly, I really don't have any word about it. I mean, we and this is every week. You're going to take who you have. We get the injury report on Sunday, and, hey, these are the guys that are out, and we just go with it. We don't really ever think about that. All I do is look at it, all right, who's ready to go this week, and then we'll play. And that's kind of how we'll approach it. And, if he comes in and he's ready to go, then we'll see at that point in time, all right, is the season going too far to where we don't play you, or we're in a situation where we need you. And I think we'll just take that week by week, and that's really with everybody, all the players that we have.
Defensively, you've gone through a stretch like 3 games where defense has had to make quite a few big plays. How do you kind of assess what you've seen from the defense in that stretch?
Well, I think our defense has played well overall. We gave it some plays Saturday, and I thought some of that was they had some really good playmakers, and I thought we were on the field more than we usually are on the field. And if you're a step slower or a step late on some of those guys, they're going to make big plays. And I think a little bit was that. I think the tackling needed to be a little bit better at times. I mean, we had the quarterback in the backfield several times, and then we let him go, and he gets some big plays on us. So, but I think it was a little bit of the time factor. They were on the field so many times, and the fact that they had some talented players as well. So I think overall this year our defense has played really well.
As far as Idaho goes, and looking at them, I had a little bit of conversation with Sean about this. Defensively, I didn't see a lot of exotic stuff that they were doing. They kind of just line up and come at you. They've got look like a pretty effective defensive line, but there's just not a lot of hocus pocus there. It's just they're where they need to be. They're going to keep you from getting on top of them. What have you guys seen, and how do you attack them this week?
Well, I think that's exactly right. I think number one, they're really good at pass rush, and I think that's one of their strengths this year, and I think they're leading the Sun Belt in sacks. Had a big game last week against Lafayette. They're very active up front with that pass rush. In the secondary, they're going to keep everything in front of them, so they're not giving up the big plays, so they're going to make you drive the football. And they're going to try to get you off the sticks. And that's what those tackles for loss, sacks are doing. And they are. They're not a huge blitz team. They're going to play their defense and let those guys run. And I think the head coach may have mentioned this at the beginning of the season. They're faster on defense than they've ever been since he's been there. And I think you can see that on film. They really can run. They play hard. So you have to pick and choose when you're going to take your shots down the field. But I think for us, a little bit of the same type game plan as last week. Obviously we got to throw the ball better than we did last week, but hopefully we'll be able to run the ball in the same manner and try to find some ways in formation to get in some of those runs.
What's the dynamic of playing in that dome of theirs? I mean, do the players come back and, is it something they have to get adjusted to, especially the receivers looking back into maybe that background or return guys?
Last year we were there, last time we were there 2 years ago, I thought we played well. Nothing we didn't really focus on. We're practicing indoors today. We'll go in there, and I think it's big enough and large enough to where the light didn't affect anybody. I think we threw and ran well the last time we were there. So I don't think that the dome has any effect on whether you play or not. You just got to focus and continue to do the things we've been doing.
I think Idaho's O-line has kind of had issues with protection recently. Do you feel like that's kind of an area where you guys can really dominate?
Well, I think our D-line is undersized, but they're small and they're quick, and we got to utilize that speed to get in the backfield. I think we had 4 sacks last week, and I mentioned that we did lose some of those got sacks, and I think we got to get more sacks this week. I think Linehan's one of the better quarterbacks in this conference. He's a little bit like Taylor, played a ton of football, and he can pick you apart if you don't get in his face. And so we got to get him off his spot. And hopefully we'll get some sacks this week and get them off the sticks and get them in some long yardage situations.
Thank you.